In this gripping story, a teenage girl's passionate romance turns dangerously dark as her boyfriend's obsession takes a terrifying turn. Expect intense moments and shocking twists. So, grab your popcorn and let the thrill ride begin. Nicole is getting ready for school. Her father, Stephen Walker, teases her about her outfit, and she defends her clothing choice. They exchange some playful banter, and she heads off to school. In the car with her friends, they discuss skipping school for a day out at the pier to see James Taylor. Nicole is unenthusiastic about the idea of seeing James Taylor in concert again, and her dad playfully teases her about her memory. Their interaction reflects their father-daughter relationship and generation gap. Nicole mentions her mother being away in San Francisco with a man named Vince. Nicole's family is getting ready for a concert outing. Her father, Stephen, is enthusiastic, but Nicole is not excited. She agrees to help in the kitchen and talks to Laura. Nicole then reveals she can't attend the concert due to a sudden business trip to Vancouver. There's disappointment in her voice. Nicole later contacts her friend Margot to meet up at King and Occidental. The scene shifts to a club where they're dancing. However, things turn chaotic, leading Nicole to suggest leaving with her new friend David. Nicole and her friend David escape a chaotic situation at a club. They climb onto a parked car and then manage to get down safely. In a car, they have a more personal conversation. Nicole opens up about her past, mentioning that she lived with her mom in LA when she was young, and her mom was often sad. David shares that her parents are back east, and although they're still together, they've never had serious disagreements. Nicole returns home late, breaking her curfew. Her stepmother, Laura, is angry and scolds her for not calling. Nicole explains her watch broke, but Laura remains upset. Nicole's father, Mr. Walker, and his friend Larry discuss the situation and express concern about the guy Nicole was with. Mr. Walker wants to meet him, but learns Nicole just met him. He gives Nicole a punishment of 2 weeks of kitchen duty and yard work for breaking her curfew, emphasizing the need for responsibility. Laura criticizes Steve for being too lenient with their daughter, Nicole, after she broke her curfew. Steve defends his approach, and they discuss the need for rules. The scene then shifts to Nicole introducing her boyfriend David to her family. David is respectful and polite, engaging with Nicole's younger brother and winning over the family dog, Kaiser. Nicole's father, Mr. Walker, and David have a brief conversation. Meanwhile, Margot talks to Mr. Walker, suggesting they go to the Orbit for fun activities like pinball and bumper cars. The scene highlights David's introduction to the family. Nicole and David are getting ready to go out for the evening. Stephen mentions Nicole's curfew, and David assures her father that they'll return on time. They go to a bar, where they enjoy live music and play a game to win a prize. During their night out, they receive a call from Eddie about a work issue, which prompts David to invite Nicole to join him on a trip to Vancouver. Nicole's parents are out of town. She invites David over, and they express their feelings for each other. They plan to meet up later. And they did that exactly. They became very close to each other. The next day, when Nicole is unexpectedly visited by her friend Gary, a confrontation occurs between David, Gary, and Nicole, where out of rage, David hits Gary and Nicole by mistake, leaving Nicole upset. Laura, Nicole's stepmother, enters and notices Nicole's distress. Nicole attributes her tears to a gym class injury. The scene highlights tension and a dark turn in Nicole and David's relationship. Her friend Gary shares a disturbing encounter with David, leaving her confused. Later, David and Logan are at a club to meet a man, and they're warned about the man's temper. Back at home, Nicole waits for their return as her younger brother Toby informs her they need to leave soon. David decides not to leave, causing tension with Logan, and Nicole is seen upset in her room. Nicole discusses her recent altercation with David and the black eye he gave her with her father, Steve. Steve tries to impose stricter rules and control Nicole's actions, expressing concern about her relationship with David. Nicole resists, asserting her independence and insisting that her personal life is separate from her father's influence. Laura, Nicole's stepmother, intervenes to mediate the situation, only to find out that Stephen knows that they made love and was worried about Nicole. David tries to apologize to Nicole for his violent outburst and expresses his love for her. He explains that he acted out of a desire to protect her. Nicole listens, but it's clear that she is conflicted about their relationship. Ultimately, she accepts his apology and welcomes him back home. Stephen confronts David and tells him to stop seeing Nicole. David initially dismisses Stephen's concerns, but then comments on Stephen's own issues. Stephen is frustrated by David's attitude and is determined to protect his daughter Nicole. Tensions rise between the two men, setting the stage for a potential conflict. Meanwhile, David struggles with taking orders and resorts to physically harming himself, causing bruises. Nicole's father becomes suspicious and investigates David's background. He discovers that David is not who he claims to be. Nicole accuses Stephen of assaulting David, and in her anger, decides to leave with David, who has been waiting in a car outside. Later, David drops Nicole off, but offers her the choice to come home with him. Initially declining, Nicole changes her mind and heads to David's house, where she finds Margot giving a lap dance to one of David's friends. David intervenes, taking Margot to his room and engaging in non-consensual debauchery activities with her. Nicole, mistakenly believing that Margot went willingly, is devastated and severs all ties with David, wanting nothing more to do with him or Margot. Subsequently, David follows Nicole into a ladies' room at the mall and sexually harasses her, causing her further distress. In a final desperate bid to gather evidence against David, Stephen unlawfully enters David's residence and stumbles upon a shrine dedicated to Nicole in David's bedroom. Consumed by anger, Stephen vandalizes the house with a particular focus on damaging David's room. In retaliation, David and his friends employ intimidating tactics to gain access to Stephen's house. They apprehend Stephen, restraining him, and escort him to Nicole's room, framing the situation as a farewell to his daughter. While David informs Nicole that the situation is inevitable, he inquires if she wishes to accompany him. Nicole pretends to be affectionate towards David and responds with a feigned yes. Laura manages to free Stephen, prompting a violent altercation between Stephen and David. Eventually, Stephen forces David out of the second-story window, resulting in David's fatal fall. Thanks for tuning in to today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more awesome content. See you in the next one.